Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is MSA if you're new. So today I'm going to be reviewing the new Huda Beauty Glowish Luminous Pressed Powder. Yeah, this is an interesting product. I first saw Huda demonstrate using it on her Instagram stories, I believe. When I first saw it, I was like, it's luminous. And whenever I hear the word luminous, I generally run for the hills and avoid it because I have very oily skin. And in the past, anything luminous had just made my skin look awful. But I was surprised. I mean, look at my face. Look at this. I am glowing for England. I would never usually allow myself to glow this much, but I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. So I got two shades. This is Deep Tan and the Rich shade, and I will be talking through a bit more about the application of the product, so stay tuned to the tutorial part of it. But I'm going to go onto the website now and give you a description of the product. Hang on, let me just unlock my phone. Okay, so this is meant to be a smoothing, breathable, luminous pressed powder to give you coverage without the cake. And yes, it is very lightweight. That is true. The product is infused with antioxidants and skin-loving ingredients like Damascus rose oil, vitamin E, and red bell pepper extract, which is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen any other product with red bell pepper extract. And it goes on to say, the radiant formula adds a lightweight, natural-looking silky glow to the skin, blurring pores without settling in to fine lines. And again, I agree to that. I did notice it has a blurring effect. It hasn't really settled into my fine lines, so I'm happy with that. Now, this powder retails for £29, which is within the same price range as most of Huda Beauty's products, so I think that's fairly reasonable. Then moving on to the shade range, she's got about 13 shades which are meant to be stretchable, so they run from very pale skin to very rich skin, so that's people even darker than me. So if I'm thinking about the Fenty shade range, the deepest skin tones, the deepest shades of this product probably will cover you if you're in the 490s, which is really awesome to see. Next thing I want to talk about is the packaging, and it's cute. It is very lightweight, so it is very travel friendly, or if I'm on the go, I'd happily just pop this into my bag. I love the kind of the transparent look of it, and that's very much in keeping with the whole Glowish brand, which is meant to be very clean, very good for you. I think also possibly a bit eco-friendly, but I need to read up on that a bit more. And it opens up like that. The only thing I wish they did was put in a little mirror, because that's really handy when you are on the go or when you are traveling. But apart from that, I like it. I think it's really cool, very sleek, very modern. So well done, Huda, for the packaging. So on the website, Huda did say that this product is meant to last for about 8 hours. So it's not exactly the longest wearing product. And I'm really glad that she put a time on there, because it gives you a bit more of a realistic expectation when you go to try out this product. So I'm going to be talking a bit more about my thoughts on this as I do the rest of this makeup tutorial. So stay tuned for that. And don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, all the good stuff. You know what to do. Okay, let's get stuck in. All right, so to start off with, I only have moisturizer on my face, so I'm going to do my usual skin prep that I always do before I put on liquid foundation or powder foundation. So first thing I'm going to do is prime, because as you can see, my face is oily. So I'm using the Becca Evermatte Poreless Priming Perfector. So I generally just put a thin layer of that onto my T-zone, because it just gets the most oily during the day. Just to point out the obvious, a little friend decided to join me, this lovely spot uninvited. But what can you do here? She came to crash the party, so I just have to carry on as though she's not there. Next primer is the Bare Minerals Prime Time Original Primer. So this goes all over the rest of my face, which is more, still gets oily, but is more towards the normal side. I'm going to go in with my usual concealers underneath my eyes, just to brighten up, because you can see I have quite deep set eyes, and this area tends to peek through foundation or powder. So I'm just going to put just a little bit. I'm just mixing two colors together. Don't worry, I'm going to link all of this down below so you guys know what I used. And just using a concealer brush to just blend it in lightly. I'm going to lightly set it with the Huda Beauty Easy Bake baking powder in the shade Kunafa. For the rest of my face, I'm going to use the Beauty Bakery setting powder. This is the flower powder in the shade Cacao. And I do this to set my primers before I put any other product. And this works for liquid as well as powder foundations. However, if you have dry skin, just skip this step. You don't technically need to set your primers, but my skin is just super oily, so it just needs an extra layer of protection, so that whatever product I put on top of it just lasts a lot longer during the day. Sorry, it's looking kind of funny around these areas. That's just the primer I put underneath. The Becca Evermatte, it kind of does this sometimes when I put it on a little bit too thick in areas. So a thin layer of that primer is key. All right, time for the application. Now on the website, it does say if you want a very light coverage, just use a fluffy brush. If you want a more fuller coverage, then use a damp beauty blender. So I have experimented with it, and I find my favorite is actually using a very dense brush or a beauty blender. But just for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to show you the different types of application. So this is just a big fluffy powder brush, and I'm just going in. This is the rich shade, which I'm using on the perimeter of my face. So if I put that on, you can see what it's doing there, right? Hopefully you can appreciate that. And you can see it's a lovely finish, but I can still see some of the imperfections of my skin coming through. So I'm going in with this very, very dense brush. This is by Joy Adenoga. Fantastic brush. It's Foundation 002 brush. So I'm just dabbing that into the powder to get a nice layer, putting that on, and you can see the difference. That is a more full coverage finish compared to this, which is a lot lighter. Hopefully that's coming up on camera, but this is a lot thicker. I'm a full coverage kind of person, so I miss cake face, so I'm gonna pack this on. And one of the first things I noticed about this powder is just how beautifully it sits on the skin. It is lightweight. It does blur my skin because I have very textured skin, and it just makes it look so good. It's like my skin but better, which I think is kind of the point of Glowish, really. So yeah, I love it. I just love that finish. I'm just gonna put on a bit more with the brush, just so hopefully you can appreciate it. So yeah, you can see it's just not quite as full coverage as this. So I'm just gonna continue putting that onto the perimeter of my face, because I'm gonna go in with the lighter color to the areas I usually highlight. Okay, I'm gonna just push this back, otherwise it's gonna end up all over my head wrap, which I do not want. And it's so easy to apply, like it's so quick. I find it a lot quicker actually than applying liquid foundation, just because I'm talking, it's taking a little bit longer. And initially it has a bit of a mattifying effect on my skin, which I like, but it does get a lot glowier as the day goes on and as my natural oils mix with the product. That's something I noticed when I wore it before. I've worn it for the last 2 days in a row just to really test it out so that I can give you guys the most thorough review as possible. And the other thing I would say is that it does oxidize during the day, so I'm really glad I got 2 shades, because you can see this shade is looking kind of dark actually, because I like to match my either my foundation or powder to my chest, which is a lot lighter. So if you're picking a powder for your whole face, I would just go a little bit lighter than what you would usually go for, because you can see this looks like it would fit me perfectly, but I still think there's a lot of redness in this that I can see. I tend to run a bit more neutral. So just know it will oxidize during the day as your natural oils start to mix with the product. Okay, so I think that's about enough of that. Pull that head wrap back into place. Okay, now I'm going to go in with that deep tan color, which again looks super light compared to this area, which I'm trying to match it with. But let me show you how it applies. So I actually like to use it with a dry beauty blender. So I'm just going to swirl it in, get a good amount of product in, and I'm going to put it in onto all the areas I would usually highlight with concealer. And oh, that just looks so beautiful. Look at how it's going on. I hope you can appreciate there is just this lovely subtle sheen when it goes on, which just beautifully, it just blurs the texture on my skin. So that was something I was wild about. Like, look at the difference there. Look at that. Wow. Huda, girlfriend, you did something amazing here. You really did. I've just never seen a pressed powder that has done that for me before. And I was somebody that always ran away from anything that said luminous, because I just thought, oh my gosh, if I put anything that's extra shiny, it's only going to make my imperfections stand out more. It's only going to accentuate the texture. It's just going to make me look worse. But this actually makes me look better. So I'm happy. Okay, onto the Cupid's bow area. My chin as well. And it doesn't take a lot of work to blend the two colors in together. I find that that blend was quite seamless. And you see how now we're kind of getting to the color that matches my chest color. So if you can, and if you want more of like a highlighted effect, get two colors, but you can get away with just one color, but just go slightly lighter than what you usually would go for in a skincare, like in a skin product like foundation or powder. So I'm going to go in with the same brush that I used to apply the darker shade, and there's no extra product on it. I'm just stamping that in very lightly, and that will just get rid of any harsh lines. You may not see it on camera, but I often find after I take pictures of it, I'll notice it. And also on the forehead and just a little bit around the chin. I'm not really going to contour my nose as such today. I'm just going to pinch the brush and just go down the sides here. Just a little bit. And that is the application. Wow. It's so easy. So if you don't have a lot of makeup skill, you could just pop this on and be done. Love this. Really loving this. Okay, so basically I'm going to finish up the rest of my face very quickly. So I'm going to fast forward that section, cue the music, keep watching, and I'll come back towards the end. So let me go through my final thoughts on the product. Obviously you can see how it applies. I am glowing for England. I never usually allow myself to glow this much, and I'm actually quite surprised as to how much I like it. I think, Huda, you've converted me to learn to embrace the glow. And what I love is that it didn't texturize my skin too much. If anything, it makes my skin look really good. I feel very healthy. Yeah, I love the blurring effect. It's lightweight, very easy to apply. So I think it's very beginner friendly. Or if you're in a rush, I could see myself wearing this on the days when I want a less full beat, like I just want to look a bit more natural, or if I'm going away on holiday and I don't want to pack a lot of makeup items, I would go to this. So yeah, I've been really impressed, and to convert somebody like me who does everything matte to wearing this glow face, yeah, that's a feat. So I have to say I'm quite impressed with what Huda has done. Other thoughts, the wear. So I've worn this for the last 2 days, and for some days I had like it on for about 10 hours or so, I did notice at the 5-hour mark that I started to get very, very glowy, especially in my T-zone. And I would expect that. So if you've got oily skin, you probably are going to get about 5 hours before you get more oily. But you know what? Even though it did become more oily, I wasn't mad at it. It was okay. It still looked quite natural. It didn't look cakey. And yeah, I don't think, for me, I wasn't disappointed by that, but just come in with realistic expectations. On the website, it does say you're going to get 8 hours of wear with this, and I think that that's a fair claim. Obviously, if you have drier skin, this product may last a bit longer than that, and you're not going to get oily particularly. But yeah, if you've got oily skin like me, give it about 5 hours and you're probably going to get oily. But I have to say, for wearing it up to about 10 hours, it still did last. I still felt there was pretty good coverage at that point. The makeup just didn't dissolve down. So I'm quite happy with the wear of it. And the other point I'm going to make is about picking the right shade. So it oxidizes. During the day, it did get a bit darker. So I am so happy that I picked up the 2 different shades. Otherwise, I would have been, yeah, not so happy if I just got the rich. I think there's a shade between the rich, hang on, and the deep tan, which I think would have been my perfect shade match. But I like a bit of dimension to my face, so if you're happy to spend a bit more, I would say get 2 shades and use one as a highlighter color, and it just ensures you're going to get the best possible match to your face and it won't get too dark as the day goes on. I'm very interested to know how the shades run with people who have drier skin, because it probably is not going to oxidize as much. So possibly, I think you might be fine with just 1 shade. But if in doubt, get yourself shade matched first at a counter so that you're absolutely sure. What I usually do is I'll go in with a bare face, turn up at the counter, find someone who looks nice and friendly, get them to apply the product all over my face, and then I'll wear it all day. I won't buy it that day, but I'll wear it all day to be sure I'm happy with it, and then I'll go back and then purchase it. So yeah, that's what I would do. So that's it, guys. That is my review. Huda, you did a fantastic job. I am impressed. Yeah, I look forward to more Huda Beauty releases. And if there's any other products you guys want me to review, just drop a comment down below and I'll do my best to cover it. All right, thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.